Good morning and welcome to the Financial Doctor Show. I'm so excited to introduce you to today's guest, Miss Eni Hardock. Eni, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you, Annie, for inviting me for today's interview.
My pleasure. So Eni Hardock is a #1 international best-selling author. She's a speaker, and she's also the owner of Easy Math, which is an amazing math program provided to children in an online space. So it's easily accessible even in the current COVID era. And she's operating from the GTA, from the town of Uxbridge. And she's also a networking queen and everything else. And that's how we met back in the days. But I'm so excited to have you today. And we certainly would love to hear about your journey, Eni. So, why don't you tell us about your journey? Let's start it there.
Yes, let's talk about how this Easy Math for Kids came about. It's, well, because of COVID, that I have to actually pivoted the online, the in-person children learning program online, which I had for 10 years. I have the learning center, and also we deliver to private schools, after-school program. That's what happened during the COVID. So I've been teaching online, available to much larger audiences, right? Anywhere, because of the ability to deliver online with the virtual classroom platform, with our also proprietary online system with a live teacher.
I love it.
That's
So Eni, why is your math program different from other math programs out there? So how is your math program helping children?
Yes, we teach children actually from ages 4 to 12 years old. So it's the foundation of mathematics, adding, subtracting, multiplication, and division. So these are foundation skills that all children would required, but we teach it so they can do it in their mind without using any tools, right? So that's the trick. That's something that is lacked of, I think, in the traditional school system. And this method also, we actually engage children in their learning. And what I find now online, I actually able to engage children and deliver this method efficiently. So within weeks, children can do it like without using any tool, and just do it in their mind, adding and subtracting series of numbers. And which I think, like lots of, from what I heard from other parents, that their child is still struggling in the foundation, not talking about even, applying to solve math problem, but they were struggling in the foundation of mathematics.
Right. And anybody who is in the building business, they know that without the foundation, the house will eventually collapse. So let's go back to the mental component. So why would you say it's so important for children to learn how to do mental math? So how can it help them going down the road?
Yes. So it's actually because of the development of the brain. We actually help children to develop more of the pathways because actually from age 6 is that when they really peak in the growth rate of building a lot of the neurotransmitter in their brain. And we build that network. Always use this analogy. Would you like your child to have a dense network like the high-speed internet? You know how much of the information can pass through and process at the same time. Or do you want, like 20 some odd years ago, the dial-up access? Lots of the adults old enough to know the dial-up access is actually through the phone line. It's very slow. You're waiting for the data to come through. So I think that's the best analogy that I can say, is like we actually help children to develop this more dense network in their brain, so they can function not just in math, but also in processing information in other area. And the unique way of what we do is, like, instead of concentrating on the logical side of the mathematics, we actually push all the information to the creative side, the subconscious mind, to do the processing by visualizing the abacus bead, like that's an abacus with a lot of the different beads, visualizing the beats movement in their mind to do the calculation. So we are actually teaching, training your child with a very special skill set.
I love it. And I really love how you use the word creative, because many people, when they think about math, they only think, yeah, it's, it's a necessary evil. It's just something that is logical, but there's way more to it. So the reason why I personally love math, because it allows a lot of creativity. So you can actually arrive at the same solution with different other ways. And, you can do the straight way or the scenic route, and you can still arrive at the same solution. And that's why I personally think that this is a very creative method and a very creative thing to learn about, and I'm glad that you facilitate it for children, and that's
Yeah,
absolutely
because my background was in mathematics. I graduated with a degree in mathematics, but I was specialized in computer science. So I was like very logical, like, the thinking and everything, right? But when I noticed this method, it's different because it's like instead of seeing numbers in their mind to do calculations, it's actually transform it into bit movement, as if you are watching a video, like in your mind. And we know, like as adult, how visualization is important, right? Like even in meditation or visualizing your vision. And these kids, they actually see everything clearly just because each of the beats means a lot, right? Like the accuracy of seeing the beats.
absolutely.
Yes.
I love how you are bringing in visualization, because there are a lot of talks about mindset these days, in terms of how can anyone boost their mindset and achieve the goals that they really set out for themselves, and visualization is definitely one of them. And it appears that your method is just facilitating that. And I really need to share a little more about you, because you are saying that you majored in math and computer science and whatever else. So if people think, oh yeah, Eni is a very logical person, but Eni is also a very creative person, and I'm talking about Eni Hardock, not Eni Oszlai. Um, the two Eni's in one
Oh, you're a
one evening.
musical doctor too, right? You're not just financial. I think we've got both, like,
That's
fin-
it.
financial and musical doctor.
So that's actually one of our loves that we are sharing. It's about music. You are an avid musician yourself, and you tried your wings, in composition and everything else. But not just that, you are creative to the point that you decided that you want to share your story. And look at you, you actually became an international #1 best-selling author. So let's talk about that, if you don't mind, because that's obviously part of your creative vein and creative angle. So why did you decide to participate in the Asian Women Who Boss Up compilation series?
Yes. Initially, I was more motivated by the business, right? Because when I started to promote easy math for kids online, and I knew that my method, it narrowed down to the parenting style, to get our program really work and seeing results quickly, right? So when I heard that there's opportunity for the Asian Women Who Boss Up book, I thought, yes, I'm in. I just need to hear the word Asian market, right? Like there's the different ethnic group. That's what I was, because the abacus is actually originated from the Chinese abacus. And then also, you notice the beads. It's now it's the Japanese and the Taiwanese. Their abacus. That's what the number of beads are. Right. So it's like the Asian culture. A lot of the parents understand what this method is and how it helped their children. That's why when I heard the book, and that's what I drawn into. But as it progressed, and I knew there's more to this book that I feel that I can bring into the awareness of the Asian community. I originally came from Hong Kong and fully educated there until like high school, and I came to Canada for 40 years. So it's immersing the two cultures, and that's what I feel that I can give to those people that have the conflict between the two cultures, right? And I also married a Caucasian, and my son is biracial. That's what all these experience actually helped me to able to give the voice to the Asian community. And that's what I feel now. There's more than just what I originally thought I can give.
You know, this is amazing. You know, the experience of being an author, it just really perpetuates itself into something much bigger in terms of what you can give to others and what they are taking from it and how you're inspiring them. Can you actually give us an example? Because, you know, this book obviously came out and boom, the first day it went into international #1 best-selling. So I'm sure you actually heard some feedback from others. So what were some of the feedbacks? What inspired people about your story?
And I think it's the life vision. It, I just, it was in me about having a very clear life vision. And then I work backwards, like to see how do I get there? Because I lived like different phases in my life, like, you know, first as an immigrant, and then I became married and for became a single parent when my son was only 4, right? And then another journey, like being now my son already grown up and now the next phase of my life. So each of these phases, I was really clear on where I want to go. And that's what every decision I made was easy, right? So that's what I encourage people, like, to really be clear on your life goal. And then every single decision that you make, even daily, it becomes easier. And also they are very important steps to get you there. So if you think of, should I choose A or B, right? And if you have a clear goal, you know whether it's getting away from your goal or you're getting closer to what you want.
It's actually funny how you say the two choices, which are there literally on a daily basis, in
Yes.
fact, any minute of the day. And there's a pretty good book about it. It's called The Slight Edge, which is specifically talking about that we are having different you know, choices throughout our life, and depending on what we choose, that's, you know, will dictating, you know, the outcome of it.
Yes.
But it seems that, you know, that's exactly the message that you're utilizing as well, which is just an evergreen message. So I'm glad that you do that. Now, talking of which, I know that you guys are coming up with a summit that starts on March 29th. And I know that you have a talk which is titled From Unknown Immigrant to Lady Boss, How to Boss Up Using 3 Simple Steps. What is that about, Annie?
What is that about? Actually, that's something that I didn't have the courage to talk about before. And I let you know that I actually had written the talk in February. And at that moment, it was the, you know, how do I start? And then I just thought, oh, wow, there's one comment that really stick out in my life, right? Was like being a new um, a new business, and then also in a new community that I didn't know anyone, right? And it was a racial comment that stuck in me when I first moved into. But that, instead of getting angry about it, I actually see the way of how I changed the way I built my business in the new community. And it's just such a big takeaway even for myself, because I never like thought deeply about why I started the networking group. But what people hear was what they are. But suddenly when I start writing my talk, I knew there was a much deeper reason for why I started the networking group, because life is easier when everybody knows you. And that just came to me. I think it will inspire others to change their way of thinking and don't get offended by people's word. There's there's lesson from that, and that's what I learned from that. Instead, like, so it strengthened me instead of really push me down to a minimal strength, small.
You know what? I'm absolutely amazed by how you were able to pivot, and instead of taking a negative comment and allowing that to influence you, you rather said, okay, wait a second. That is your perspective, but not mine. However, this now allows me to create a response that allows me to shine through the dark and actually create opportunities for others, versus allowing your words to stop my divine work. So I really love how you didn't allow that affecting you, and I think this is a very, very, very strong message in today's world, where we are in a pandemic for a year now, and people are obviously having all kinds of mental issues in terms of anxiety, depression, and so on. So this is a very strong message, Eni, and I can only congratulate you for being who you are and how you are shining through and lighting the light for others. So this is amazing. Now, what would you say is something that anything else that you would be recommending for others, like any nuggets, any help, anything that you can think of when it comes to mental wellness?
Well, for mental wellness, really like reflecting on yourself, because lots of us, like the first thing we do is to blame others, right? Or blame the environment that we are in and everything else except looking into ourselves. Looking into ourselves, especially when you're in the depressed states. Like I went through that 20 years ago, right, for 3 years. It takes courage to actually get yourself to look into yourself. That's why lots of people trying to do external thing, to trying to avoid thinking about it or seeing it, right? Like yourself, right? But that's the only way to really free yourself from the others, and then also free yourself from reacting to others people's, like you're reacting to other people's like whether it's what they say to you or what they did to you and everything, right? But if you start looking into yourself, you're not letting those to bringing up all these negative emotions. And even if they did, and you really eat like quickly and remove them, because you're not attached to those kind of negativity. But it's only if you can just see it within yourself and reflecting what's the lesson, or what's the insights from all these happening to us.
Amazing. Very good advice, Sunny. So now, obviously, if someone wants to find out more about the book or more about the summit, how can they get their hands on the book, and how can they register for the summit, or how can they get in touch with you in case they actually want to find out more about you as the amazing person that you are, your network, and at the same time, your mental math program?
Yeah, says I don't want it. There's so many different doors that you come in, and Annie's and everything. but they can easily search me on internet, Eni Hardock. But I wanted to give one. It's a phone number that they can text into and connect with me. So then I can give you what you like. We have more further conversation. Whether you need the education part or it's the connection part, right? Actually, my model now is like connection, communication, and education. And that's me, and that's Annie's voice. And I wanted to connect with you.
I love it. So what's your phone number, love?
Yes, 1-833-226-4549. And you can text in the word connect. Then I know you really want to connect with me, and then I will give you more relevant information that you need.
Perfect, very good. So we will be blended in as well in the post. And then in case someone wants to register for the summit or wants to buy the book, where can they go and get this done?
Yes, go to andysvoice.com, and or like on my Facebook page, it is like, Eni's Voice. You can register for it. It's it's called Women BossUp Summit, virtual summit. Yes.
Perfect. And this is starting on the 29th of March and goes till March 31st.
Yes, yes. And I believe I can give you the links for that.
Perfect. And I believe the book is available on Amazon as well. So
actually on Amazon is the Kindle version, which is the ebook, but they can pre-order the hard copy. Hard copy, and it's on anniesvoice.com, and I would actually put a personalized message for you.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Find it.
Perfect.
Yes.
Annie,
Annie's,
thank you so much for today. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, to have you in the show. And I absolutely wish you continued success and continued connection and communication and all the beautiful things that you're doing for others. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you.